Good morning and welcome to the March edition of the VTCT Skills Hair and Barbering Collective. If you have never met me before, I am Nicola Cole and I lead the Hairdressing and Barbering Collective, and I am also the Key Account Manager for Scotland and Northern Ireland. And I have my new wingman with me today for a one-off special appearance. I'm joined by Danny.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, nice to meet you all, and thank you all for joining. So, I'm Danny. I'm the key account manager for Central Belt of England.
Thanks, Danny, for joining us. He stepped in at the last minute. My usual wingwoman, Claire Pye, is off doing something else today. So Danny kindly jumped in. So if you are new to the Hair and Barbering Collective, let me just give you a quick overview of what we're all about. We've been running these for 4 years now, and we run them two per term, and we strive each time that we run them to bring to you some industry-led guests on varying topics across the hair and barbering sector. We try as much as possible to go based on what feedback you ask for. So you said, we did. If there's a particular topic or type of guest that you want, then you just need to feed that into me, and I am always happy to seek out these fantastic industry guests for you all. Danny, if you wouldn't mind moving on to what our agenda is for today. So we welcomed you all, and we are joined by the fabulous Charlotte Hayes, who I'm going to talk about a little bit more in a second. We are going to give you an update on all things events at VTCT Skills. And always we end by telling you when the next one is. Can you believe it? We've actually only got 2 meetings left for the end of this academic year. So yeah, this year is flying by very quickly. Danny, next slide, please. So our guest this month is the fabulous Charlotte Hayes. And Charlotte is a curly hair specialist, and she has her own organisation, her own salon, Bella Box UK. Now, one of the things that we get asked absolutely the most for is kind of insight into curly hair, textured hair. And over the last few collectives, I think we've had varying guests on, all fantastic specialists in the field of curly hair, taking the fear out. We've done a little bit of myth busting. And this time we wanted to take it that step further by giving you some much stronger insight into what you can achieve with it. So I have invited Charlotte Hayes, who is going to be joining us today. Charlotte, do you want to just come off mute just now, and do you want to start sharing your screen, please?
Yes.
I will then.
Everyone see me all right? Hear me all right?
Yep, we can see that. Charlotte, before we go into this, do you just I have been kind of following you on Instagram. We've had a few conversations recently leading up to this, and you're super passionate, aren't you, about curly hair? Fabulous head of curly hair yourself. You're super passionate about this. Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so basically, yeah, I'm Charlotte. I run Bella Box Salon, and I've always worn my hair curly myself. So a lot of people were always saying, "Oh, go to Charlotte. She knows what she's doing with curly hair. She's the person to go to." But actually, I didn't know what I was doing, and I kind of just found my own way with my own hair. So I thought it was time for me to learn about the ins and outs of curly hair and how to actually treat it properly using the right products. So that led me down the journey that I've been on now with my salon, and yeah, just opening my doors to all curly and textured hair clients. So yeah, that's how it all
Brilliant.
started, really.
Brilliant. So you've got a fabulous presentation that you are going to share with everybody, and I know you're going to be talking through some of the practical side of things. There will be an opportunity to ask Charlotte any question you want. So if you want to put anything in the chat as we're going along, we'll have an opportunity at the end of Charlotte's presentation. So yeah, over to you, Charlotte.
Thank you. So yeah, this is going to be my presentation about understanding and styling natural curls, and teaching the students what to do. I'm kind of just going off as if we know next to nothing about curly hair today. It's going to be very simple. And if there's any questions, yeah, feel free to put it in the chat and ask away. So it's going to be washing, styling, and diffusing, drying, all that sort of stuff. So let's go into the next slide. Okay, so yeah, a bit more about me. So, as you know, I'm Charlotte. I've got curly hair myself, and I run a curly salon called Bella Box in Letchworth in Hertfordshire. I was trained by a lady called Lorraine Massey, who was the founder of the Curly Girl Method. You might have heard of her online, and she also wrote this book called The Curly Girl Handbook. So I initially trained with her. I've also trained with a lady called Erica LeBird, who's the founder of the Muse Salon, and she taught me all I know about Afro and textured hair and the history behind that as well. So yeah, I work mostly with curly hair clients, and I'm really passionate about helping clients understand their natural textures, leaving the salon with loads of tools for themselves to work with their hair at home and know what to use, how to style it, because also it's my name walking around on their heads as well, so I want their hair to be looking nice. So that's what I do day to day. But yeah, I'm moving more into education, and I'm grateful that I'm here today to be speaking to all of you guys as well. Um, so today, this is what we're going to be running over. Like I said, it's going to be very simple. I've got some videos, and I'm going to be talking to you guys, talking about washing and conditioning, products, styling techniques, drying and finishing the curls. Um, I am very sort of like, I'm not very technical in the way I speak because I speak to my clients a lot of the time. So if I don't use very technical terms, please stop me and I can try again. But yeah, we're going to be showing you all the products, brushes, all that sort of stuff. So why is it important to honour all textures in the salon? So most of my clients, a lot of my clients come to me and they're all very nervous about trusting people with their hair. They've had bad experiences in the past, and it's no fault of anybody's because sometimes obviously the training isn't there. I only sort out this sort of training because I've got curly hair myself. So it's important that we start opening up like our doors for everyone's textures and honouring those clients as well. Um, and they're not just coming with their hair, they're coming with that history of not being able to trust people, being offered to leave the salon with straight hair, so we need to really like big up our clients, give them the tools they need to like do the styles themselves at home. And yeah, I think sometimes we feel like we're a burden in the salon because we've got thick hair or it takes a little bit longer. So it's just about making those clients feel at ease and using all the right language with those. So not trying to tame or fix their hair, but going with their hair and curl pattern and working with that. Yeah, so next slide. So yeah, let's get into it now. So we're going to be talking on this slide about washing and conditioning. So I'm going to be talking you through all the products as well. So initially, starting off with shampooing, as we all know, cleaning that scalp. With this client on the videos, I started off with the Only Curls Detox Shampoo. So this is a really good shampoo to use to begin with if the client has got a lot of build up on their hair. Some clients come that have had their hair in a slick style, braids, anything like that. So we want to really use the shampoo to reset the hair and start our styling process. So a detox shampoo or a clarifying shampoo is really good to start that process. We always want to be looking out on our process, on our products to make sure they're sulfate and silicone free. Obviously, sulfates, it's salts, it's going to dry the hair out, and curly hair's naturally dry anyway, where the oils can't fall down. So we want to be using stuff that's not going to dry the hair out, and no silicones as well, because we don't want to coat the hair in anything. because we want the hair to take on all the hydration and moisture. So then I moved on to the Only Curls All Curl Cleanser. So this is a really nice hydrating shampoo from Only Curls. They've only got 2 shampoos in their range, so it's really simple. And yeah, so starting that process, cleaning the hair, and then what I'm doing in this video is I'm starting to smooth the hair, the shampoo through the hair. So we don't want to rub the mid-lengths and ends and ruffle the cuticle up. We want to really go through and use that shampoo to just cleanse the hair, starting the detangling process and creating a blank canvas for all our products to go on. Just going to play that one more time. So yeah, really working on smoothing the hair right from the get-go. So then moving on to conditioner. So with this client, I use the Only Curls All Curl Conditioner. It's their only conditioner. They do a mask as well, but this is great. And the conditioner's job, as we know, is to smooth the cuticle of the hair. So this is where we start basically our styling process. So I'm using the Denman paddle brush, and starting right from the ends and working up to the roots and smoothing that conditioner through. And it's going to make the client's hair feel nice and soft, smoothing the cuticle, and allowing the water to move through the hair. Where was I going to go with this? I like to get the mirror for the client. So not only can you feel it yourself, but getting the clients to hold the mirror and say, this is what our hair should feel like when the conditioner's properly smooth through. This is what it should look like, you know, gooey, smooth. And that's how you know the conditioner's done its job. So I'm just going to show you this video as well. And it kind of looks like the conditioner's like foaming up when you've worked it through that much. You know, we want it to feel really gooey and smooth. And obviously the clients aren't going to have a mirror in the shower with them, but if you've shown them how it should be feeling, get them involved, you know, because then they're going to know what to do at home. Move that back over. So this image here is, I've got it on a frame on the wall in my salon because I like to show all my clients. And it's kind of talking about the cuticle of the hair, but it's also showing the clients how to like get the surface of their hair nice and smooth, because what that's going to do is lock in the hydration and the moisture. If our hair's like tangly and frizzy when it's wet, then it's not going to make the client's style last very long. So always really encouraging the clients to smooth the hair out when all that water's on and the conditioner's on. So just showing you an example with this video. So you can see one side's been smoothed out, one side hasn't. I'll show it again. And that's what I like to show my clients while they're at the basin. And obviously there's a picture there too. Because if we start scrunching the hair and putting the products on and scrunching it when we've got all that wet frizz, you're not going to get a longevity out of the style. So yeah, really smoothing it out and taking time to do that, sectioning it off and going through with the brush. And a lot of the time my clients come in and say, I use a wide tooth comb. That's great for initially detangling, but because the teeth are so wide, it's not going to smooth anything through. That's why I really like the bristles and the Denman. They're really long. They've got no bobbles at the end, so they're not going to get caught in any tangles. And they can really get through the hair and smooth it through where the bristles are so close. So wide tooth comb's great to begin with, but to get the conditioner to smooth through something with some bristles close together really works. So products that I used on the client there and which I use on most of my clients, everyone's so different. This is another thing about curls as well. Every curly head is completely different. There's no two that are the same. So it's about being really sort of fluid with what you're using, the way you're using it, the client's lifestyle, you know, the time they've got to style their hair, all those sort of things come into play. But this is sort of like the what I go by, and it changes. The clients will tell you if they're used to styling their curls, what they normally use. there's so many products out there now. There used to be nothing and now there's too much. So kind of keeping it simple works, and then you can add or take away. So always starting off with the hair really, really wet. See water as a product as well as everything else. So we want to really hydrate the hair. That's why it's important to get the hair nice and clean with the shampoo first, so it takes on all that water. So using water to hydrate the hair. Then I like to start off with a cream. So it's like a moisturizer for the hair. So we've got the Only Curls Hydrating Curl Cream. This is amazing. It's quite a runny cream. So it gets into the hair really well. And with these products as well, you know, like the more you use, the stronger it's going to be. If someone's got fine hair, use a little bit. If someone's got really thick, dense hair like myself, use quite a lot. But keeping the hair really wet is going to help all these products go on the hair so much better. So initially we want to start off with hydrating and moisturizing the hair. So with the water and the cream. Then we're going to move on to a mousse and a gel. And when we're talking about my image of the pine cone, the water and the cream are going to make it nice and smooth and soft, but the mousse and the gel is going to lock that pine cone closed and hold in the hydration and moisture. So with a mousse, it's quite a light product. So mousses are really good, especially ones like this. They're a bit more like a foam and it comes out as a mousse. They're really good for hydrating the hair also, but they're really good as a light product to put everywhere. So when I'm putting all these products on, we're still at the basin. So we're just going to add loads and loads of mousse through the roots, through the ends. It's going to hydrate the hair and it's going to start to keep that pine cone closed and lock in the hydration. And then moving on to a gel. So a gel is going to keep everything together. It's going to make the style last longer and yeah, get a good like week out of it. I get a week out of my style. I wash it once a week, twice a week maximum. But all these products layered up together is what's going to make your style hold. So the Only Curls Mega Hold Gel, I love it. It's my favourite. Putting it on the mid lengths and ends, and then we're going to work it through with the brush. So that's the last product to use to lock everything in. Also, talking about that diagram with the pine cone, a way to encourage your clients to keep their hair sort of lasting more than just a few days is recommending them to wear a bonnet at night time as well. Satin pillowcases, anything that's not going to sort of let the moisture evaporate. So bonnets are really good to make your clients' styles last longer as well. And you can get all these off the Only Curls bonnets, satin pillowcases, towels, all that sort of stuff. So moving on to the next slide. Stop me if I'm going too fast, by the way. So yeah, we're going to talk now about styling the hair. So we've done the shampooing, the conditioning, smoothing the hair through with the conditioner on, put all the products on. So you've got your water, your cream, your mousse and your gel at the basin. So what we want to do now is take the client over, make sure they're all toweled up because it's still going to be really dripping. Like I said, we're going to be using that water as a product as well. So we're not taking any water out yet with a towel, squeezing it out, anything like that, because we want to push that hydration into the hair when we're scrunching. So we're going to move on to styling. So again, my favourite Denman, the D4, is really great for styling curly hair. These bristles are even longer. It's really going to smooth the hair out and get the hair ready for drying. So when we're styling, I'm going to show you this video now actually. So we've got all the products on there. It does get a bit messy and gooey, but trust me, it's worth keeping it this wet. I'm smoothing the hair through and I'm creating these clumps of curls. And when we're creating these clumps of curls, they're going to stay together throughout our whole styling and drying process now. So really smoothing the hair out. And that's why I love the Denman. It's great for that. I'll play that again. But this is a time where we can set the hair where we want it to be. So does the client want volume? Then brush the hair up and away from the head, or get their head upside down and brushing it upside down and bringing it off of the scalp. Does the client not want volume? Then brushing it downwards. Um, has the client got a fringe like mine? So I'm going to brush this over my face, putting it in where you want it to be, just like any set. You know, where do you want the hair to be? Do you want it to sit off their face? Brush it away. All that sort of stuff. Now's the time to do it, because once it's dry, it's there. So yeah, this is why I love the Denmans. They're great. So making the hair clump together, and you can see in this other picture here, it's all nice and smooth through, sitting in the curl clumps, ready to be scrunched. Um, so like I said, styling in the direction where we want it to be. And this is a bit more further styling. So in this video here, this is a really good technique to use the Denman brush to set the hair for an updo. So you can go through, let's give it a little play. And it's kind of like how you would curl hair with straighteners, but we're doing it around the brush. And it really sets the hair in sort of like a manufactured curl, like a ribbon kind of curl. And this technique is really good, yeah, if you're setting the hair for a hair up. So going through the hair and doing it in a brickwork pattern, curling the hair round. Sometimes the curl won't want to go that way, so you'll go back round and do it the other direction. But yeah, it's a really good way to sort of like make the hair uber perfect for a hair up. A lot of clients don't like their hair set like this if they're just wearing their hair down, because it looks a bit like Goldilocks hair, like ribbon curls. So this is just a good way to set it if you are putting it up. And then another video here. This is finger curling. So I'm just going through and twiddling the curls around my finger to get a bit more definition. And this technique is good, for example, if someone's got a fringe and you're just styling the fringe. It's good also if someone's got heat damaged hair in certain areas. You can encourage the curl a little bit more with your hands that way. But again, I wouldn't recommend going through the whole head and doing this, because the client might feel, well, the client will tell you what they want, you know, and you can ask them, but sometimes it doesn't look like their own natural curls if you do it throughout the whole head. So it's good for certain areas. I'll play that one again. And as you can see, the hair's still really wet. We've got all those products in there. So once you've set your hair and styled it and put it where you want it to be, that's when we're going to move on to scrunching. So like I said, the hair is still dripping wet. I've got my client leant over here because she wanted volume at the root. So we're going to scrunch with her head hanging upside down. It's a bit of a neck workout when you've got curly hair. We're going to be hanging over, looking up, all that sort of stuff. So just make sure your client's all right with that and they've got no back problems. If not, you can lay, I've got a chair that it lays back. I lay my clients back. And also, if they're doing it at home, you know, with my kids as well, I have them lay off the bed and we dry that way. So yeah, scrunching the curls and pushing all those products in. So I'm scrunching and I'm sort of pulsing at the root to push all that hydration, the moisture in, and making sure the curls are then bouncing up. So I'm going to show you this one. So don't worry if you've brush styled and the hair's kind of looking straight, because this is where it all starts bouncing up when we start scrunching. But it's important to really smooth before we scrunch. And you'll find at this point, even though we've not taken any water out, the hair does start drying because the gel's locking in all that hydration and it's drunk a lot of the hydration. So you might not need to towel dry as much as you thought by this point. But again, we're going to towel dry. We're going to use the towel the same as I did with my hands, just scrunching and pulsing. We don't want to rub the hair. We don't want to sort of rope it down. We want to keep encouraging them curls in. If you're going to put your client's hair in a towel, then put all the products on first before you put it in the towel, because then it's going to start drying with those products on. And then, yeah, you can add more gel if required after you've towel dried. That's a really good way of layering a product if the client needs a bit more support. a lot of the time in the winter, we need a lot more product because we're outside in the cold, we're in with the heating, it's going to dehydrate our hair. So layering products in the winter is a really good way to do it to make the style last longer. In the summer, you might find that you don't need as much. So sometimes just using a light mousse is enough for the summer for some clients. It's all depending on their hair. So that's your scrunching and towel drying. So moving on to diffusing now. So I love the Dyson hair dryers, they're amazing, and the Sharks. But we always want to make sure that the hair dryer is on a low heat and a low speed. And what we're trying to do with the drying process is not move the hair around too much. We want to keep them clumps together, what we created with the styling, keeping those together because we can break it up and scrunch it all out at the end. I think we get into a habit of really touching the hair while we're drying it to get that volume in, but we can create that at the end. So to get definition in the hair and volume, you want to just keep those clumps together. And in this video, to get volume at the root, I'm using the prongs to create lift. So I'm still trying to keep them clumps together, but I'm moving the hair around at the root to create lift there and using them prongs to massage the scalp. That's why it's important to keep that heat low because we don't want to dry the client's scalp out. Keeping the hairdryer moving as well, so we're not focusing on one area for too long. And then also with the diffuser, I'm using the bowl in this video to dry the mid-lengths and ends. And as you can see, I've got my client laid back. So we lay back and then we look side to side and then I have them hanging over if they want volume. If a client doesn't want volume, dry upright. If a client has got sort of really fine hair, I would sort of just hover on a bit of a higher heat because you're further away. But if a client has got thick hair, get right in there, you know. Um, Also, you can put your clients under a hood dryer. However, you've got to remember the air is coming from the top, so you won't get as much volume that way. So root clipping really helps. So you just want to like set the hair basically and try not to touch it too much. Play those videos again for you. I'm not using my hands whatsoever. And actually, in my salon to speed up time, I use two diffusers at once. So it makes things a lot quicker when someone's got a lot of hair. So this is when it comes to the end of drying. So we want to diffuse the hair until it's 100% dry to get the best results before we start going in there with our hands. So by using a gel, the hair is going to dry crispy, and that's called a cast. So what we want to do is break the cast. So here's a video of the hair, what it looks like when it was completely dry with the gel still crispy. And leaving the hair like this, it's different for every client. So it's a bit like a set. You could leave the hair crispy and let the client go if you're not going to refine a cut or anything like that. And I tend to do that with my hair. I wash it and I leave it in the cast. And throughout the week, my hair just expands. And it's a really good way to get longevity out of that wash day. If the client is doing something that day and wants it bigger on that day, hence mine, I scrunched it out a little bit yesterday because I'm on this call today, otherwise it'd be a lot smaller. So ask the client what they want. If a client's having their hair done that morning and is not going out till that evening, they can scrunch it out just before they go. Or some people go to the bed with it like that and it scrunches out overnight. It's just, yeah, it's not a bad thing. I think a lot of clients think, oh, I didn't like that gel because my hair dried crispy, but it's a good thing to make their style last longer. So I'm just going to show you here how I scrunch out, if that works. This one doesn't seem to be working. One doesn't seem to be working. Let's try again. There we go. There we go. So yeah, really scrunching that gel off. Then this is when you can get your hands right in there, move it around, scrunch it. We've not really touched the hair while we're styling up until now, but once we're dry, don't be shy, get in there, scrunch it all out. So that's kind of just a classic scrunching out method there. And this one here is a bit more, I call it roping, especially if the client's got thick hair and you've used a lot of gel. Sorry, I don't seem to be playing. There we go. This is a way to get that crispiness off as well. I call that roping. And then you're left with softer curls. And this is why we put the cream on first, because we're going to scrunch off that crispiness and it's going to leave it nice and soft looking. But you're still going to get that support from the holding products. So can you see the difference in these two videos here? Crispy in a cast and then scrunched off. So yeah, this is how the client came in and that's how she left. So this is an overview. So starting off with a shampoo, using that to really reset, detox the hair, take anything off that what the client came in with, and giving your hair a blank canvas. Using the conditioner to smooth the hair, smooth the cuticle, close that pine cone, and putting all the products on at the basin. And then we're going to use the brush to style the hair and then scrunching all those products in, keeping it really wet, using the water as a product as well, and then towel drying, scrunching as well. And then using the diffuser, try not to touch the hair throughout the drying process, using the prongs to create lift at the root and the bowl to dry the mid-lengths and ends. And then once it's completely dry, scrunching it out. So that's the end of my presentation. So yeah, any further learning, I'm available if you want to do any in-person sessions or online sessions. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, BellaBox UK, and that's my email there. And then also all the products I've spoken about today are from Only Curls. Sherry is the amazing wholesale lady. If you email her, you can create accounts with her. She's great. And they're really good. Everyone that works there have got curly hair themselves. So if you've got any questions for them and the products, they're amazing and they really care about everyone's hair as well. So get in touch with Sherry if you want any products as well. So yeah, that is the end. Let me know if you've got any questions.
Charlotte, that was fantastic. Thank you. Really, really good. Thank you for taking the time to record all the videos for us. I think that, you know, when we spoke about this, I said the one thing that we keep getting asked for is insight into how to apply the products, what types of tools to use. Who knew you could use a Denman D4 to create a curled look? Absolutely fantastic. Does anyone have any questions for Charlotte on anything that we have seen there today? I do think, just so that everybody's aware, you will get a recording of this afterwards, and you will also get a PDF of the slides. And I think these videos will be fantastic teaching tools for you to use with your students when you're touching on curly hair. So I think that a very, very useful session all round. No questions from anyone? No? Okay, we're all very quiet today. If you are watching the recording afterwards as well, because there's a lot registered today that will get the recording, I do hope that you are enjoying watching it as well. Yep, Rebecca has just said thank you for your time, Charlotte. Thank you. Do you want to stop sharing your screen, Charlotte, please? Yep, very informative. Very informative, lots of very informatives. Thank you. And yeah, I say thank you as well. Let me remove you from the spotlight. Danny, would you be so kind as to share our slides again, please? Thank you. Brilliant. Tour. So Collective Live, you may or may not be aware that we are on tour at the moment. We have been, sorry, Tina, yes, exactly that. It is brilliant to pass on to learners. We are on tour at the moment, and we are being supported by Osmo and their team. Cloud9 are sponsoring the Student Spotlight, and we have Heather Robertson from Ergonomics United. I think there are actually some people on the call today that were at the Collective Live in South Shields last week at Tyneside College. It was fantastic. Anyway, the tour is nearly finished for this academic year. We have one more event to go, which is already sold out on the 28th of April in Accrington and Rosendale College. If you are interested in going to that, you let me know and I'll add you to the waiting list for tickets for that. The objective of this slide today is a shout out though, because we are about to start planning for the next academic year of the tour. And this is a shout out. I am looking for host colleges. I'm looking for colleges across the UK. So from Scotland, Northern Ireland, all across England. I think the tour is an amazing opportunity for colleges to be the host of it. Yes, there are things that we need to have in place for a college to be able to host it, but particularly with the introduction of the Student Spotlight, which we introduced 2 years ago. This year, Cloud9 have supported it. The next year, it will be another brand that supports it. But as a host college, your students get mentored through presentation skills and some technical skills to be able to come on stage as part of the presentation team on the tour. So the one that we did last week in South Shields, we had 4 level 4 students who are doing diploma in salon management up on stage presenting looks, really shouting about the great work that the colleges do. So if anybody is interested in hosting a collective, the headlines are that you need to have a space that can hold at least 100 people. That's the only remit, and a willingness to work collaboratively with myself and VTCT Skills to bring it to life. So if you are interested in hosting, please reach out to me. My email address will be in the follow-up here. So even if you're watching the recording, you can still get in touch with me. Because yeah, we want to share the love across the whole of the UK for the Collective Live Tour. Next slide, Danny. And this is just March. So you can see, I think that we talk about this a lot, about the level of support that we do offer to both VTCT and non-VTCT centres. And our events calendar is pretty extensive. So you're here on the Collective online today. We run these every 2 per term, as I've said. But here's just a snapshot of some of the things that we have got coming up. Some of this is across sector as well. Danny, there's an event of yours on here, isn't there? You're running a hair and beauty event. Do you want to just talk a little bit about that? Is there any spaces left? What can they expect to happen?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, thank you for giving us that little bit of a shout out, because I'm still encouraging as many centres as possible to join us. So, we're hosting an event for a regional collective, so a regional networking event for hair and beauty, and that's going to be in Chesterfield, and it's next week, so it's on the 24th. So, it'll be myself that will be there in attendance with a guest speaker, Chris Taylor from Eve Taylor, and also Jodie, our lovely Jodie from VTCT Skills, to talk a lot more about the apprenticeship and the reforms of going on there as well. So there are still some places left. They are very limited though. So we're just talking a handful that's left. So if you do want to attend, by all means, jump onto the event site and you can just book by going through the link as well. And I'll try and pop it in the chat before the end of this meeting as well, so you can just click straight through.
Brilliant. Thanks, Danny. Thank you. You'll notice there that there are a few beauty events, which would be great to share with your wider teams as well. So just like the tour, the Collective Live that I run for hair and barbering, our team over in the beauty side also run these face-to-face events. At the moment, they are doing a fantastic event with Glitter Bells, which is the very fancy nail brand with pink unicorn, and students go wild for it. They absolutely love it. And we have also started working with Novu. I did an event with them in Scotland recently, so that's my beauty knowledge here. It's brows and lashes. They do all the lash lifts and brows and things like that. So fantastic events for students. So yeah, if you want to share that with your wider teams, and of course, I'm sure Danny would love to see anyone who's within the area of Chesterfield College as well. Next slide, Danny. Ah, here we are already. Here we are already. So yes, we are, this is us now until May. I already can tell you now what's happening on the 12th of May. I'm going to be joined by Paul Thompson of Elevation 8. And they will be demonstrating a haircut next on the May 1. So the invite on this will follow on your next on your follow-up from this one. So it'd be great to see you there. Like the session today, this would be suitable for students as well. It'll be something really great that you can show your students within the learning. Something that you will note a change of is we are going to take these down to 1 hour. I think that we are very acknowledging of the fact that not everybody's got an hour and a half to sit on a Tuesday morning. So yes, we will be reducing them to 1 hour. You're going to be seeing a cutting demonstration next month, and it will be suitable for students. Question here: will there be any Scotland networking dates added in the near future? Yes, I am in the middle of working on Scotland dates at the moment, and I'm about to send you all out a poll to see about if you can all manage to do a date this side of the term, and if not, it will be in the time for the new academic year. But thanks for your question, May. And May and the fabulous team at Forth Valley hosted the Collective Live in Scotland, and I'm sure they would be pleased to say that it's definitely something worth doing. Odell, thank you as well. If there is no questions from anyone, then that is us for today. Short and sweet. Thank you so much, Charlotte, again for joining us today. Really, really informative session on curly hair, and this will be distributed to everybody that's registered today, and it will also be uploaded onto the VTCT Skills YouTube site. Danny has shared all our social feeds there. Thank you, Danny. So if you don't follow us already, please do, and keep an eye out on our socials for future events. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today.